Hello there, and welcome to a new episode of Collective Consciousness. My name is Tiny, and I'm going to be your host, and I'm so thrilled to welcome you to a new episode where we focus on expanding your consciousness. Today, we're going to be talking about protecting your energy. Last week, we talked about healing childhood traumas, and if you did miss last week's episode, please be sure to subscribe and hit that bell down below so that way you can get all of the future notifications. All right, let's dive on in. So, protecting your energy. That is so vital and so important because we can't control what happens around us, right? What we can control is how we react to what happens around us. So, for example, this past week I have gone through a major loss in my family, and it has been tough for a lot of us. And I'm not saying that for sympathy or condolences. I'm saying that so I can share with you how I heal and how I focus on what it is I can control. Now, such is life. It's so mysterious. It's something that we still have yet to crack, and what happens after life, and when people leave this plane, are they still with us? Are they not still with us, right? That's something that we struggle with consistently as human beings. The battle of life and death, right? Something that's inevitable for all of us. So, when it comes to major loss or traumatic events or stressful situations at work, at home, at school, it doesn't matter. What it comes down to is you have free choice on how to respond to it. So, okay, well, what does that mean, Tiny? Let's go a little deeper, right? When something negative happens, you have the choice right then and there how to react. Now, we're all human. It is okay to feel the true emotions and address the true emotions of pain, of grief, of disappointment, right? But what we want to do is we want to experience that human emotion, recognize it, live through it, confront it right then and there, and then afterwards move on, right? So the last 2 days I have been a little isolated. I have been in my own space, lounging around, watching TV and eating Ethiopian food because that's my comfort food, right? That's what makes me feel better. I just go get some food. We talked about this in the food episode. I love food more than I love most people, right? So I just focus on doing things that make me happy. I recognize the pain. I recognize the hurt. I address it. I talk about it. I write about it. I'm an artist as well. I might sometimes even paint about it. The point is, address it right then and there. If you don't, what's going to happen is all of these emotions are going to stay bottled up and build up and bubble and fizzle, and then all of a sudden you ever shake a soda can? A soda can or soda pop is what I was trying to say. I don't know. And you open the can or open the bottle, and what happens? It explodes, right? We don't want to be exploding on people. It is so important. The other day was just mental health day. It is so important to focus on yourself, on protecting your energy. And it's like, okay, well, you're talking about all this. Like, what is protecting your energy? When these things happen, to recognize that you have the free choice on how you get to respond. That is where real power comes in, ladies and gentlemen. That is where you really develop control over what happens in your life. When you can't control everything, the one thing you can control is your immediate environment. Paris said last week that you can control your space. So do that. Control your space. Even though you have these human physical emotions, address them. Absolutely. And then choose how you respond. Right? So protecting your energy. For me, it took a while. A few years ago, I was It was my toughest year ever, 2017. Okay, so I'm not gonna get too deep into it, but we'll talk about it a little bit. I ended up losing my vehicle. I lost my apartment. I was across the country by myself. Pretty much I had to land on my own feet when I fell face forward, right? And I didn't. I fell face forward, like I just said. And I had to kind of figure some things out. You know, my mom, of course, was there to help me emotionally and a little financially as well. And I really appreciate that. But at the end of the day, like, I'm halfway across the country. I had to figure it out. So I ended up getting a roommate off one of those little apps or whatever. And I lived with this guy, and it wasn't miserable, but it wasn't exciting either. I mean, at first it was pretty cool, but then, you know, people feel some type of way if you're in their space for too long. You know, I still paid rent and everything, absolutely. However, my point in all this is I was in someone else's space. I didn't have a vehicle. My job was literally across town, so I was like taking but it took me like 2 hours to get to work every day. And I would start at 8 a.m. So I'd leave at like 5:45, get to work by 8, and then work a shift. And at the time I had 2 jobs, right? So I would work a shift, get off, have like 3 or 4 hours, and then have another job in that same area. So it was no point in me coming home and coming back, because even if I had 4 hours, I would literally have to take the 2 buses right back and go back to work, right? So it was just a hot mess, honestly. It was a hot mess. And during that time, not only did I have to keep a positive energy about me having to do all that extra, because like, right, my second job, it was at Target. So I was working at Target, and it was during like the holiday season. So I would go to Target, and we would get off originally at 10 o'clock. Then it pushed to 11, then it would push to midnight. And then I would have to come back and go back to work at 8 a.m. at the first job. So it's just like super intense. I was really tired. I had a lot of stress, you know, while moving up in one job and trying to maintain composure in the second, and all this extra space on the in-between. How do you protect your energy in that type of situation? And you know, that's something that we all have to deal with. I know there's a lot of single mothers out there that go through the same thing I'm talking about, and they have children, you know, so I understand how difficult and challenging protecting your energy could be. So in that type of situation, it's like, well, what do you do? So to start off, I would listen to positive audio on my way to and from work, something that would keep me motivated, something that would keep me feeling uplifted and keep me wanting to go to the next step, right? And in those moments, I would also be on public transportation. And if you've met me, you know I'm very sensitive to other energies, right? I'm sensitive. I have a very keen intuition, and I'm very sensitive to how other people are feeling. I can physically feel it. You know, I can feel that energy and interpret it, right? So on public transportation, there's a lot of different types of people. So I would imagine myself in kind of an orb of my own energy, right? And often it was like a bright pink. And I would just sit there and tell myself, like, no negativity can penetrate my orb. You can't pass the force field, right? And now this isn't going to work for everyone, but it could work for you. Or if you have some ways that you protect your energy, please go ahead and drop those down in the comments, right? So I would focus, and I'm like, okay, I got this ball. It's like an orb around me. I was like in my own little snow globe, right? And I would just imagine, like, no negativity can penetrate that orb. You can't pierce through it. My energy, my power is too strong, right? And I would just tell myself that over and over and over. And I would physically, like, envision it. Like, I would view that orb around me. And there are some people, I had a couple friends who are also sensitive to energies, and some people who can kind of see like colors of auras and stuff. And the color that I imagined my orb being, at one point, some people said that they saw that color around me. that bright pink, you know, that's a very lovey color, right? So at the same time of me emitting the love energy and creating that force field around myself of basically like armor, you know, I have this love, this armor of love. Ooh, that sounds like the name of an album. Armor of love, okay? So I have this armor of love around me, of my own love, and it's so powerful because it's something that I believe in. It's something that I have connected with my higher self, and it's something that we have come together, me and my higher self, to create, to basically block any negative energy. Now, because it was an armor of love, I was very cognizant of not blocking out energy from coming in that could be beneficial to me. You know, so we don't want it to go both ways. We don't want to block our blessings, right? We don't want to block positivity. We don't want to block opportunities because we have this big old armor or wall up, right? What we want to do is we want to attract those things that are for us, but block out the things that are not for us, right? So, your imagination is so powerful. You know, that's why kids are so magical. Children are so magical because they still live in that world of imagination, and they use their brain to a fuller capacity to make things happen in their lives, you know. And just for a second, remember the magic of when you were a child and when you were imagining, you know, a fort or a castle, or you're playing with your dolls or whatever, like how powerful how happy you were in that moment, right? Now, when we learn how to actually tweak and use these tools in our adult lives, it also becomes magical. So fast forward, I was on the bus for, I would say, 8 or 9 months maybe, and I ended up getting a new car. I ended up only working one job. I got promoted. I ended up moving into my own apartment. And it was just like, I created that energy. You know, I had a little help along the way and a couple people that I would turn to help me stay motivated and to stay on it and keep my tunnel vision going. But at the end of the day, like, I manifested that. I protected my energy enough in a negative situation to where I was able to control what happened next in my future, and everything that I was working for, everything that I was focused for, everything that I kept my mind on manifested in my life. Okay, so the importance of protecting your energy is basically determining what your future is going to be, right? So when you protect your energy, when you focus on keeping a positive, when you know your free choice, you know that you have the ability, you have the right to choose how you feel and how you act on every situation that you experience, then you're able to choose a higher vibrational route. You're able to choose a better feeling, right? Yeah, that was hard. Did I like it? No, I hated it. I hated every moment of it. But that's not the point. The point is you have to understand that that's how you feel, understand your discomfort. My dog's like running around. Understand your discomfort, understand that that's how you feel, and understand that you have the right to change that immediately. Okay? All right, I hope you found value in this. Please, if you did, put down in the comments a hashtag value for me. Also, give me some of your opinions. How are some ways that you protect your attitude? What are some situations where you couldn't protect your attitude, but you maybe in hindsight realize you should have, right? Or what are some situations that you're going through right now that you might need assistance with? I can help you look at it from a different point of view, a different perspective. Share your stories down below. All right. Thank you so much for tuning in. This week, what I need from you guys, I need you to focus and understand and be aware that you have the power to choose. So if something happens to you this week, if you get a flat tire, if you run out of gas, you get stranded, I don't know, a bill is overdue, I don't know, anything, right? understand and focus on the two options you have. I can choose a negative vibration or a lower vibration, or I can choose a higher one, right? I want you to focus on that moment. I want you to focus on your choice, focus on your free will, and utilize it. All right. That is all I have for everyone this week. Thank you so much for tuning in. I appreciate every single one of you. If you have not yet subscribed, hit that subscribe button. If you like this type of content, go ahead and hit the like button. And if you think someone could benefit from this, hit the share button. Thank you so much. Asè and Namaste.
Right.